Chapter 255. The Sixth Level Array. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Hanku's speed was faster than Zhang Yuoquan's and thus, she caught up with him immediately. We won't be a match for Huo Jingqing even if we work together. I have already been injured by the Commandery Princess Ling severely when I fought against her. I might be even more injured than you, said Zhang Yuoquan. Then what should we do? Let's run away. Or if we have to, we will have to fight him to the death. Although Zhang Yuoquan and Hanku's speeds were very fast, Huo Jingqing was still faster and was coming closer and closer. Phhhf. Huo Jingqing flew in a hurricane. Swinging his arms, another two wind blades appeared. They couldn't resist the wind blades' power at their present state. They tumbled to the ground and narrowly escaped Huo Jingqing's attack. When they ran out of the forest, they saw thick fog in the air, mutilated ramparts, and dilapidated streets as well as some human and savage beasts' bones. What's going on? What is this place? Asked Zhang Yuoquan. Hanku said happily, I know it. This is the White Fog Ancient City, an elementary ruin, where it is said that a White Fog half-saint lived. However, long time has passed and it has become a ruin. I, with the disciples of Yuntai Suzerain, have practiced here before. Since we have escaped to here, we are saved. An elementary ruin is perhaps a challenge for a warrior of the Black Realm or the Earth Realm, but to a warrior in the Heaven Realm, it isn't dangerous at all. You really think an elementary ruin can stop Huo Jingqing? Said Zhang Yuoquan. Hanku said, I remember that there is an underground palace in White Fog Ancient City which may help us. Follow me, Zhang Yuoquan. Chasing behind Zhang Yuoquan and Hanku, Huo Jingqing threw wind blades one after one, shattering the wrecked buildings in White Fog Ancient City into pieces. Up! Huo Jingqing roared. A strong wind power uprooted the street, and pieces of stones fell onto Zhang Yuoquan and Hanku. Unleashing Shadow of the Royal Wind Dragon, Zhang Yuoquan turned into a flying dragon illusory image and dodged the stones easily. Puff! Unfortunately, Hanku wasn't strong enough. She was struck by two huge stones. She spat out some fresh blood and was sent flying backward. Zhang Yuoquan moved his body quickly and caught Hanku in his arms. Together they tumbled down and ran towards the gate of the underground palace. They were followed by Huo Jingqing closely, who also tried to get into the gate. Boom! Luckily the stone gate closed and shut Huo Jingqing outside. The stone gate was made of hard emery ferrite sandstone around 50 meters high. Even a Heaven Realm warrior couldn't destroy the door easily. Bang! Bang! Zhang Yuoquan and Hanku, who was in Zhang Yuoquan's arms, tumbled down the stone stairs to the bottom of underground palace. Zhang Yuoquan had already been injured earlier. With this fall, it was like his whole body had fallen apart. He lay on the ground without moving and breathed heavily. It was a close call. They had narrowly escaped being caught by Huo Jingqing. Hugged by Zhang Yuoquan, Hanku pressed down on his body without moving and almost fell into a coma because of her internal injuries. She just lay in Zhang Yuoquan's arms with her arms around his neck and said in a low voice, then thanks. Now they were at zero distance and was intimate. Zhang Yuoquan could feel Hanku's soft bosom and sniffed a little at the faint fragrance which immediately woke him up. He touched Hanku's back and pushed Hanku away gently. Zhang Yuoquan sat up with difficulty, picked out a light nature spiritual crystal and then injected his genuine chi into it. The spiritual crystal lit up the whole underground palace by its bright light. The underground palace was vast and looked like an underground martial arts field with a height of 120 meters, a length of 200 meters, and a breadth of 80 meters. There were many array-like lines engraved on the wall. Hanku had also already sat up. Her face was pale and she said to Zhang Yuoquan, thank you for rescuing me. Zhang Yuoquan stared at her with curiosity and said, haven't you thanked me already? Have I? Hanku's face turned hot. She was afraid Zhang Yuoquan wouldn't let what happened just now go and added, I totally forgot what has happened. Never mind. Take care of your injuries. The defense strategy here may be ineffective and that stone gate won't block Huo Jingqing for long time. Just as he finished, a loud crash came from the direction of the stone gate, which shook down dust from the underground palace's roof. Bam, bam. It was Huo Jingqing who was banging on the stone gate with wind blades that left deep marks on the door. The stone gate shook every second. Both Zhang Yuochen and Han Ku took healing pills and started to heal themselves. 1 hour later, Zhang Yuochen opened his eyes and then stood up. He walked to the door. Hearing loud sounds from outside, a deep worry appeared in his eyes. Having already treated his injuries for an hour, Zhang Yuochen's injury had probably recovered by about 10%, but if he wanted to be completely healed it would still take at least 2 days. This stone gate couldn't hold out for 4 hours, let alone 2 days. Peeking at the array lines on the stone wall, Zhang Yuochen thought deeply for a moment and walked towards it. At the same time, Han Ku opened her eyes and asked, "What are you doing?" Given our current condition, there will be no chance to run if the stone gate is broken by Huo Jingqing, and we will die here. He put his head in his hands and gazed at the lines on the stone wall. He touched the stone wall softly with one finger and said, "If I can repair this inscription of array and restart it, even someone who is stronger than Huo Jingqing won't be able to break in." Han Ku shook her head and said, "It's useless. The array here, which is very profound, was carved by White Fog Half-Saint. Once, an array master of Yuntai Suzerain studied it for 3 months but failed. Though I am not a master, I have read many books about array and have done some research in this field so that maybe I can repair part of these inscriptions of array," said Zhang Yuochen. "You are overconfident. Do you think you can figure out this array in an hour which many masters couldn't even understand? The array masters of Yuntai Suzerain are 4th class at most. Have they read 5th class or 6th class array books?" "Have you?" asked Han Ku. "If I'm right, the inscription of array on the wall is a 6th level array," said Zhang Yuochen with a smile. In Kunlun's field, array master was a respected position. A city or a suzerain without the protection of an array was open to being attacked by savage beasts and could even be wiped out. So, every city would have a defender array. Furthermore, it would require at least a 3rd-class array master to be able to create a defender array. For instance, the arrangement of Yunwu City's defender array was supervised by a 4th-class array master, which had the power to kill a myth of martial arts of the Heaven Realm. In the 36 commanderies in the Omen Ridge, a 4th-class array master already stood at the top. Han Ku never imagined the 6th-level array which Zhang Yuochen described. Even the internal academy of the School of the Martial Market in Devil Martial City didn't possess a 6th-level array book, let alone Yuntai Suzerain. Han Ku gazed at Zhang Yuochen with amazement and asked, "That array master of Yuntai Suzerain also thought this was a 6th-level inscription of array. So you are really proficient in inscription of array?" "I'm not proficient in it but have read some books about it," said Zhang Yuochen seriously. The complexity of a 6th-level array could not even be imagined by ordinary warriors. To be able to understand an array fully, a 6th-level array master would have to have as much information as a volume of books. In other words, an array equaled a book. If a 6th-level array book came out, it would be snapped up by array masters because their attainments would be elevated to a higher level by perceiving some new knowledge. However, according to Zhang Yuochen, he seemed to have read many books about the 6th-level array. That was what Han Ku was amazed at. What would Han Ku think if she knew Zhang Yuochen had read a 7th class, even 8th class, books? "How confident are you in arranging a 6th-level array?" asked Han Ku. "A 6th-level array?" Zhang Yuochen shook his head and said, "I can't arrange a 6th-level array with my understanding of array, but I still have an opportunity to repair this 6th-level array. Even repairing 1/10 is enough to stop Huo Jingqing." Picking out an inscription pen, Zhang Yuochen started to repair it with his own knowledge. The 6th-level array's inscription was complicated, abstruse and delicate, which tested array master's spiritual power. Even a very little fault would render it useless. The 6th-level array master were also people Zhang Yuochen had to look up to. Their spiritual power was above level 40. They could communicate with birds and animals, and even get messages from 1,000 miles away by their spiritual power. It was a big challenge for Zhang Yuochen to repair the 6th-level array. Without touching the complex inscriptions, Zhang Yuochen only repaired some simple ones cautiously and intently.